Hello everybody, Ben Rogers here, the Raptors Digest, reacting to some Toronto Raptors news. And that's right, a report has come out that the Toronto Raptors will likely buy out Goran Dragic as we enter this coming season. They expect him to be swiftly picked up by the Dallas Mavericks. Now, this is a very strange report. It's coming out from Jake Fisher, so he's had a lot of reports this summer, but a lot of people don't really buy all of his sources. However, it's come out, it's making the rounds around Raptors media, so we have to cover it, but I don't see how this makes any sense for the Toronto Raptors. I'm throwing this out immediately to start off this podcast so you guys know where I'm coming from, because the word around the street has been the Toronto Raptors will likely trade Goran Dragic to the Dallas Mavericks in return for Moses Brown. That's the thing that makes sense. Moses Brown is a guy that's bounced around this offseason, going to from the Oklahoma City Thunder to the Celtics, now to the Mavericks. And people were saying on October 1st, it's almost as good as done, that Goran Dragic will be sent there in a package return for Moses Brown. But now people are saying a buyout could potentially happen with the Toronto Raptors, and that is extremely confusing. And to add fuel to this fire, Luka Doncic posted a photo, I believe on his Instagram story, but from one of Luka Doncic's account, I assume it's a story, not an actual post, just by the look of it, with Goran Dragic. And, that has Dallas Mavericks fans extremely excited to get the Slovenian connection there. Obviously, this could just be two guys working out together, two guys from the same country, friends and all these sorts of things. But it's looking by all indications that Goran Dragic will probably end up with the Dallas Mavericks, just by these reports, whether it be via trade, via buyout, and now this Luka Doncic post. And we obviously haven't heard much from Goran Dragic since his Instagram picture was put on the Toronto Raptors Instagram. So I think it might be safe to say that Dragic will likely not play on the Toronto Raptors team this season, but in a buyout, that just makes absolutely no sense for this Toronto Raptors team. And I'll start it off why. Because if you look at Goran Dragic's stats, he's still a really solid player, around the 13 point per game range, a 37% three-point shooter, gets you a bunch of assists, only played 50 games last season. However, he's still a guy that can be a veteran presence, do the right things when he's out there on the basketball court, and he fills a positional need for the Toronto Raptors at this point. Because if you look at our roster as currently constructed, right, we have Fred VanVleet, Gary Trent Jr. as our clear 1 and 2 options, our point guard and shooting guard options in our starting lineup. And then off the bench, we have Malachi Flynn, who has been looking really good in Summer League, a lot more confident, a lot bigger. So he's looking to take that step as the backup point guard. However, you look at the backup shooting guard position, it's filled with a lot of question marks. Now, I know Wainwright is a guy everyone's very excited about. We think he has a very high, a PJ Tucker-esque ceiling. So that's a positive there. He could potentially play the 2. Svi Mihailuk, I believe I'm pronouncing it right. We tried to get the phonetic pronunciation going. I'll just give myself the try. I don't have it on the solo pods animation. However, he's a guy that can slide down to that backup 2 position. Now, he averaged 10 points per game last season. A little bit less efficient, a little bit worse of a 3-point shooter just in terms of last season compared to Dragic, but still a guy that has a lot of potential, still only a young player, and can get hot in a hurry. If you want to know more about Shvi, check out our previous a video we made last week when we ended up picking him up. We also have Sam Dekker, who's a little bit taller, but 45% three-point shooter over in the Turkish league, so you can play pretty well any position with that sort of three-point shooting ability. But 3 of those guys, you could probably move some of them to the 3. Utah, I think, is going to be at the 3-4 positions. Dragic is a little bit more established, and I'll say it right now, just better than those guys at this point in his career. He's on the decline. There's obviously a lot of potential for guys like Wainwright, Svi, and all these guys to take steps up. But if you just go off production from last season or where these guys were the previous year, Dragic is still more valuable. And the Toronto Raptors, they want to win. I don't care what anyone says. We're not in a rebuild. We're not in a tank mode. We're not trying to go for a top 5 pick next season. We are trying to be good. So it doesn't make sense to just let assets walk for nothing. Literally buy them out for no good reason. Now, people are saying it makes sense maybe in the terms of ownership, where Dragic does have a big-ish contract, around $17 million for this one season. So if you can just pay a little bit less of that and you don't think he's actually going to be a role player for this team, he's not going to provide a positive impact, maybe it makes sense to buy him out. You agree to a buyout with Dragic. However, I don't see that being the case. I know the Toronto Raptors are owned by Bell. They don't need more money. They've been ripping off Canadians in terms of high cell phone rates forever, so they can have all the money they need. I don't see why the Toronto Raptors would just buy him out. Yes, if you can get an asset back, a young, big, promising guy that's a proper 7-footer that fills another positional need, I guess maybe not a huge positional need, but in terms of body type need, the Toronto Raptors could get Moses Brown, which would be very exciting. However, I keep going back to this. Dragic is a good guy. He's a good player. Maybe not necessarily the greatest guy in terms of Raptors fans' perspective after he kind of roasted the team after being traded to Toronto. However, if we need a guy that can kind of come in, be a veteran backup, is more established, and especially in a playoff series, if Malachi Flynn, still only in the second year of his career, kind of the lights are a bit too bright for a young player, which is usually the case even for the good ones, Dragic can play that backup point guard position, and especially for guys like Wainwright and Mykhailiuk, who have... Wainwright's never been in the NBA, and Mykhailiuk never been on a team that's not been one of the worst teams in the NBA. Dragic is just a nice veteran presence to have around, and giving him up for absolutely nothing makes absolutely no sense, in my opinion. And this is the take I'm stuck on at this point. Right, it seems like it's, they look pretty happy in this photo. He'll probably end up in Dallas with Luka Doncic, but you want Moses Brown back. And I know a lot of people were talking about Dwight Powell as another piece of that package, and making the money work and all these things. I'm more confident with the Raptors center position at this point, to where I don't think we need that sort of return to the Dallas Mavericks players, Moses Brown, but you'd like to get it back just so you have that flexibility. You can cut whoever, maybe even waive one of them if you have to, but you get that opportunity. But we got the phones ringing off as we're going along. I'm gonna keep it going because we're in one take, but it's a tough situation. Now I can see where some people might argue, just give Wainwright the opportunity. He wants to be in Toronto. He wants to do these things. Right, Svi, I'd probably, even Champagne, right? Champagne Poppy just dropped Certified Lover Boy today, so Champagne maybe is ready to break out and have his opportunity as a two-way player, but I don't know. I don't think it's the move to waive Dragic for no reason, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. I'm talking in circles a little bit at this point, but not a lot to break down on this one. I'm just giving my take that it's stupid to just waive him, get some assets back, because he still is a good player. But let me know what you guys think. Do you want to see him in a Raptors jersey at all this season, or should we just let him walk and give him less money than he's owed this season and just be done with him? Be done with them and then fill that roster space, because there are question marks with the Toronto Raptors and a bench roster space. We have a few guys competing for those final roster spots, whether it be Isaac Bonga, who I didn't think would make the cut, but if you get rid of Dragic, maybe the Raptors are higher on him. Freddie Gillespie, I don't think anyone thinks he's going to make the cut, but then you have other players such as Sam Decker, who's not on a guaranteed contract. Wainwright still could be cut at this point. Svi could also be, these guys, even though they're on 2-year deals, their first year could be denied, and then they don't get that second-year option. So it's maybe you're more higher on one of those guys and you buy them out, and you don't want Moses Brown. I could see that potentially happening with the Raptors team, but I don't know. And I want to see Moses Brown on this squad. I want to see Moses Brown. I'm excited. He's a promising young prospect, and he doesn't make sense to be in Dallas. They have Porzingis, who can play center. They have Moban Morjanovic, who can play center, and they also have Dwight Powell, is also a center down there. So they're bloated at that position. Klebe is also a guy that can play some 5. Give us Moses. Stop being greedy, Dallas. We're not buying him out. I don't care what happens, even though this report has come out and said that. Jake Fisher, I'm calling some silliness on that. But let me know what you guys think. Comment down below. You guys are best to make it this far. Check out the Instagram, the TikTok, all that cool stuff. Anyways, I'm signing off. Cheers.